Can you imagine living on just $1.50 a day? That's less than many of us spend on a single cup of coffee. According to the World Bank, surviving on $1.50 a day is the definition of living in extreme poverty, and 1.2 billion people around the world face that reality every day. Well, now the Global Poverty Project, whose mission is to end extreme poverty by 2030, is challenging thousands of people across the world to spend only $1.50 a day on food and drink for 5 days to deepen understanding of the challenges faced by individuals living in extreme poverty and to raise funds for crucial anti-poverty initiatives. Actress and philanthropist Bridget Moynahan has accepted the Live Below the Line challenge. She joins us now to talk more about her work as a Global Poverty Project ambassador, and we want to welcome you to Full Frame. So this sounds extraordinarily difficult to me. I mean, how tough is it?
I've only done it for 1 day so far. I'm going to be doing it again soon. It's a week-long campaign, and it's challenging. It makes you really tune into a lot of things that you take for granted. I became a lot more aware of what things cost. There's a lot of times I just walk into a grocery store and buy what I want, but you have to be a lot more conscious. And to make healthy choices is a big challenge.
So like $1.50, what can you get for $1.50?
You buy in bulk. We're a lot of lentils, rice and beans, oatmeal. You know, what I did was I have a group of friends. We're doing it together. We pooled our money. We made a menu so we knew exactly what we were going to do every single day. And we planned it out, and that way we also supported each other through it. So,
you know, it's interesting. I've worked with some nonprofits who work with this community, and one of the executive directors said to me one time, you know, if people don't think about this, but it's impossible to dream when all you're thinking about is existing, which is what you're talking about. So what does this do in terms of damaging somebody, in terms of, like you're saying, you've got to spend so much time thinking this thing through, coming up with menus, how do you buy in bulk and do all of this? I mean, it really doesn't leave a lot of time to do the other things.
Well, I mean, I can't even compare what I'm doing with what they have to live through. So what's great about this campaign is that we are asking people to somewhat step into the shoes of the people that we're trying to raise money for and awareness for, but it's certainly not to that level or that extreme. A lot of times when living in extreme poverty on $1.50 a day, you have to choose between eating or if your child gets sick, are you going to get them to the doctor or medication or what have you?
You're in a position where I'm sure a lot of people come to you and say, wow, it'd be great if you could help us with your cause. You know, just can you join and help us? So why poverty? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like a piece of you, like, can you come help? Can you be the face? Can you do this sort of thing? What attracted you to this issue?
Well, I met the people from Global Poverty Project at the Innovative Summit, Social Innovative Summit at the UN last year. And I was just impressed with the way they bring attention to their different causes, because they have a lot of different causes under their umbrella. And I thought it was really just such a unique way of getting people involved and raising awareness on different issues, of asking people to actually participate in the process, not just donate money. Because you suddenly become connected in some way to the people you're trying to help, and you're much more aware of what's happening in the world around you. And when I did it for 1 day last month, just to see what it was like so I could talk about it, and I was really amazed on how aware I became of what I was doing and not doing and what I was paying attention to and how much even waste I produce. You know, I would make breakfast for my son and I wouldn't be able to participate in that meal because I was now on a budget and I couldn't share that food. So I saw how much he was wasting, and I couldn't imagine if I didn't have the money to eat and I was watching somebody else waste so much. It just made me aware of what we're doing, how we live our lives, and how the other portion may be living their lives. And it seems like we could do something together to equalize it a little bit more.
So that day, you go through that day, obviously, it's a foregone conclusion. You go to bed really hungry, your stomach's growling and stuff, but still the brain's working. So what?
I didn't go to bed hungry, oddly, because I planned my meals really well, but I noticed the entire day, that's all I thought about. Because I like to snack in my everyday life. I snack, I eat about 4 meals a day, and I was conscious of, I have to spread this out. I have to plan it out, and I can't eat that until I'm really ready to eat it. And, you know, a friend of mine had done it, and their child had taken one of her bananas.
Oh, geez.
And she was almost devastated. She's like, oh my God, that was my banana. But she turned it around and started realizing, well, that might happen. Suddenly you might have to feed, you know, your child, or take that amount of money and give it to something else, and you have to go without.
There's the old saying, you know, of those much that's given, much is expected. I mean, is that sort of what drives you as well? I mean, you've got a great career, you're doing very well. I mean, is that a piece of this too, that you feel like, you know, I need to give back?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to give back. You know, we all are given so much opportunity and so many riches. And I'm not talking about money necessarily, but we get a lot of support from our fans. We get a lot of support from the community, and we should give back. I think it's part of our role.
Now, extraordinarily serious question for you here.
Oh, no.
Now, if you gather all these Reagans around the table, and they all had to like have a dinner where it was just $1.50 for each of them, like one each got a pea or something. I mean, that's a big part of your show, is the whole family gets around the table.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Why isn't, I mean, I would think that you at least, or a couple of people on the show, should be obese. I mean, there's nothing but just abundance of food. Everybody's eating on the show. Talk to me about that. I mean, I always scream at my son when it comes to that scene. They're eating again. It happens in every one of those shows.
I know. Well, that's the beauty of the show. But those scenes take 4 to 6 hours, depending on the dialogue director and the food reset. And if you make the mistake of taking a bite on camera, you have to do it time and time and time and time again. I feel I don't eat for the rest of the day.
I should say, this is a show that's on television here in the United States. It may not be on the air around the world, but if you were
It's around the world.
Is it around the world? Excuse me, I apologize. This is Blue Bloods. She's in it. And that's a major feature of the show in a way. It kind of sews the whole show together at the end. There's always wisdom from the grandfather and the dad.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck always has to go, and then say something really impactful.
Christopher Collins was unarmed too, and your officer used deadly force.
If it were me, or Danny, or Jamie, we might have done the same thing.
I'm supposed to give Cutter the benefit of the doubt?
The man was defending himself.
Is this what the prosecutor on the case is supposed to do, or the commissioner's daughter?
You chose to make that one and the same, Aaron.
What do you think is the success of this show? I mean, if you were to...
I think sometimes when we're out in our world and we see a police officer, we don't necessarily think of them as being human. They're a cop. They're a police officer, and you may like them or you may not like them. You know, you're not going to like them if they give you a ticket, but you were probably speeding. But you have a feeling about them, but you never think if they're married and if they have kids, if somebody's sick, if they are making their mortgage. You don't put the same empathy level on their lives. And this show kind of addresses some of those things. And I think in a lot of the other crime-solving shows, you don't get to know the characters on a human level.
Well, Bridget, thanks very much for letting everyone know that I speed. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on our broadcast. It's been great fun. I really appreciate it.
You are illegally parked right now.